Meantime, just getting you the live pictures that are now coming in of Prime Minister Narendra Modi as he is departing for Saudi Arabia. There are pictures coming in live from the Prime Minister's departure. When it comes to the Prime Minister who is embarking on a two-day visit to Saudi Arabia, especially when it comes to this visit that is being seen as a significant step in strengthening India's ties, not just with Saudi Arabia, but also with the entire Gulf and the Islamic world as well. There is a departure statement also that has been made by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the light of his visit that he is currently undertaking. Srinjoy is connected with us. Srinjoy, the Prime Minister now there embarking on this two-day state visit to Saudi Arabia. Of course, we've been talking about the close ties that India has shared with Saudi Arabia, and this is going to be his third visit.
It's an important visit, and for a variety of reasons. First of all, of course, energy. Saudi Arabia is one of the largest producers of petroleum. And that's India and Saudi Arabia will collaborate on green hydrogen, which is really the energy of the future. That apart, Prime Minister will be going to Jeddah, and he will be going to a factory where Indians work. So he will look at the factory for himself. Besides, let's not forget that Saudi Arabia wants to invest $100 billion in India. Now, that's something both countries would need to work on. And most importantly, let's not forget that he's going to the Gulf region. And that is where there is a conflict going on. There's Israel involved, there's Iran involved, there's the Hamas involved, the Hezbollah is involved, the Houthis are involved. So it's a very difficult area. Perhaps if there is a conversation, if there is a way out, if there is a way to reduce tensions, that is something that will also be looked at.
So, Prime Minister's departure statement, we'll just quickly read out that as well as Srinjoy is getting connected with us, where he said that he is embarking on this two-day state visit to the Kingdom of Saudi at the invitation of Crown Prince and Prime Minister His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and India, which deeply values its long and historic ties with Saudi Arabia that have acquired strategic depth and also momentum in recent years. And together, we have developed a mutually beneficial and substantive partnership, including the domains of defense, trade, investment, energy, and people-to-people ties. We've also shared interest and commitment to promote regional peace, prosperity, security, and stability as well. So, Srinjoy, the Prime Minister also saying that he's looking forward when it comes to participating in the Strategic Partnership Council and build upon the highly successful state visit of my brother, His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman to India in 2023.
Yes, PM and MBS have a very good relationship. They have a friendship, and that can help to build the bilateral ties between Saudi Arabia and India. Saudi Arabia is the biggest country in the Gulf. It's the big one. So naturally, a closer relationship between Saudi Arabia is always important, always helpful. And we've spoken about the hydrogen. We've spoken about the $100 billion of investment in India. We've spoken about the discussions that could happen regarding the conflicts in the Gulf. Also, it has to be said that there are a lot more things that can be done vis-a-vis trade with Saudi Arabia. A lot of exports from India are entirely possible. So
well, just interrupting you, as far as the Prime Minister's statement is also concerned, where he has been talking about leaving for Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, where he will be attending when it comes to various meetings and programs, and India values its friendship with Saudi Arabia. Mr. Fabian is also connected with us. Sir, good morning to you. How do you view as far as the two nations coming together with regards to Strategic Partnership Council between India and Saudi Arabia? So both leaders, when it comes to Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Crown Prince Salman, will also be chairing the Strategic Partnership Council.
Good morning. Well, the Indo-Saudi relations have made tremendous progress in the recent past, and these relations are important not only bilaterally but also regionally. because Saudi Arabia is modernizing itself under the leadership of MBS, and Saudi Arabia is also an economic power. We all know about the announced plan for investing $1 trillion in the United States. Well, that shows the tremendous economic power of Saudi Arabia. Now, coming to investment in India, there is investment, but it is far from the potential. India needs it, and it is in Saudi Arabia's interest to invest in the fifth largest economy, soon going to be the fourth or even the third, a little later. So that is one point. Second is that Saudi Arabia is active foreign policy-wise. You take the matter in Gaza, for example. Saudi Arabia is active. So it is good for Saudi Arabia and India to put their heads together at the highest level.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Fabin. Appreciate you joining us. Sushant Sareen is also connected with us. Sushant, when it comes to the relationship between India and Saudi Arabia, what is being said that a large number of MOUs are also being finalized and will be signed in exchange during this visit. A host of other issues, including economic partnership, defense partnership, that could also be discussed.
Yeah, look, I think it is a no-brainer that the relationship with Saudi Arabia is one of the pivotal relationships of India. And it's a relationship which has really blossomed over the last 10, 12 years, ever since we actually started, reaching out to the Gulf states. And of course, with the transformation in Saudi Arabia also, it has led to much greater pragmatism within the Saudis, and this relationship has really flowered. Now the thing, however, is that while the Prime Minister is doubling down on building this relationship, I think there are important things that we need to do on our end. For example, a couple of Saudi investment proposals are still hanging fire because of problems of land acquisition and other stuff. I think those things need to be cleared post-haste. Nobody's going to wait for us forever, even though we might have very good relations. And then, of course, is the strategic angle, which involves economic strategy and economic security. India being one of the largest buyers of Saudi oil, and one of the largest markets for Saudi oil, a large Indian diaspora in Saudi Arabia, and of course, a kind of a strategic convergence between India and Saudi Arabia. You also have the IMEC project, which connects India to Europe through UAE and Saudi Arabia. So there are a lot of things which will be there on the plate. And one hopes that some important breakthroughs will come through this.
Well, that is the reason why it is being called as a historic visit, hailing the ties between the two countries. Sushant Sareen, thank you very much for joining us here on the broadcast as well. Well, Prime Minister's visit, that is also being seen as a significant step in strengthening India's ties, not just with Saudi Arabia, Shinjoy, but with the entire Gulf and Islamic world. Because in his departure statement, Shinjoy, the Prime Minister mentions that his third visit to Saudi over the past decade, but the first one to historic city of Jeddah as well. Usually we have seen the visits of the Prime Minister to Riyadh. For the first time, he will be visiting Jeddah.
Yes, he will be visiting Jeddah for the first time. That he will be going to a factory there. There will be Indian workers there. He'll be interacting with Indian workers there. And the Indian presence in the entire area will increase. As Sushant rightly said, the IMEC is in progress. If it would have been further down the road, but for the war in the Gulf, but it is something that's going to happen, and the two people who have worked on it, on the proposal, will also be with the Prime Minister. That is Ajit Doval, the National Security Advisor, and Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri, who was Deputy National Security Advisor and worked on the IMEC proposal as well. So IMEC is going to be an important issue because all these countries in the area will benefit from IMEC. Besides that, of course, yes, it's the investment issue. Here, the Saudis have said we are willing to invest $100 billion in India. Now, that proposal is there. Work has to proceed on that. and as quickly as possible. It will help the Saudis, it will help India, it will increase employment in India, it will do a lot of good.
Well, that is why ahead of the Prime Minister's departure, we are also looking at when it comes to his statement that has now come across, where he is looking also forward to interacting with the Indian community there in a significant number in when it comes to Saudi Arabia. And a video that has also been shared by the Ministry of External Affairs hailing the ties with Saudi Arabia as the pictures that are now coming across of this strong bond between the two leaders and the two nations.